Well, hi everyone at Mount Regis Center. This is the first quarter town hall meeting via video for 2026. It's been so long since we've done one of these that I think it was the end or the beginning of the last quarter. So it was probably around October. So it's been several months since we've had one, but technically we're still on track because we're doing one a quarter. I have a few things to say, but I'll be as brief as I can. Listen, the main thing is it has been crazy. I get it. You have been working your butts off with the admissions and discharges we've had, and most of them happening later in the day. It is crazy. And we normally don't have this going on. But the result has been that we're working harder with heavier workloads, but our census is down. It's moved very, very little, a little up, a little down. So therefore, because we're below budget, we've had to constrict our workforce, which that makes no sense. In what world does that make sense? It's the world we live in. We can only staff according to our census, and we're not getting traction with our census because we have so many people leaving early. So why is this happening? We believe that with the cold weather along about the second, third week of January, we got an unusually difficult population of people who were trying to escape the weather. And they were not motivated for treatment. They were not motivated even to stop using while they were in treatment, so we've had contraband. They wrote their own treatment plans, a lot of them, and that was to hook up and to use in treatment. And they did their best to make that successful. So we have had, as a result, a lot of people get kicked out of the program. We've also had a lot of people that just jumped in almost on a whim, and so they jump out on a whim. So we've had 30 AMAs the past 27 days. Unbelievable. And you know what that means. You schedule 6 admissions, you think the census is going to go up. We end up having 5 discharges. We go up by 1, or we break even, despite having turned over 12 patients in a day. Huge amount of work for the intake team, for nursing, for clinical. You're tired, and I get it. So we've got to come together now and figure out how to fix this. I think a lot of those patients have trickled out, but we still have got to do something to make sure we get off this hamster wheel before we just all fall out. So let's talk about that real quickly. Number one, thank you again for your hard work, and I know you're tired. We will get through this. Things will get back to normal. Normally, when the census grows when we have that many admissions, because we get up to where we're around 100, and then we can't bring in 3 women because we only have male beds. So therefore, the admissions slow down, and we can spread them out. 30 days later, that means that admissions came in at a slow, steady pace, so the discharges go out at a slow, steady pace. So instead of these big pockets of admissions and pockets of discharges to deal with, we have slow, even flow for the most part. Now that varies. It usually is only part of the normal thing we deal with. We do have pockets of admissions and pockets of discharges. That happens. But for the most part, we are not experiencing what we have experienced the past 6 weeks. So thank you for your hard work. I know you're tired. Now, let's work together and get past it. There's 2 things I need you to keep in mind before we do that. Number 1, we give good treatment at Mount Regis Center. We give very good treatment at Mount Regis Center. We have some outstanding nurses who could work in any med surg around here. We have an outstanding clinical team. The counselors, they do great work. I promise you, we give good treatment. I have an inside track to somebody who was the CEO at Mount Regis, at one of the premier programs in Acadia, $60,000 a month. He has the same challenges we have, and our performance scores in terms of patient satisfaction and outcomes are the same. And he doesn't have any Medicaid population. So we give very good treatment at Regis Center. Don't doubt that. It is easy to doubt that when you go through the chaos we've been through, but don't. It is always important that we get as many people into that treatment that we give as possible, and that we keep them from making a harebrained decision and leaving when it's dangerous and they are getting what they need with us. So we give good treatment. Number 2, you're a professional manager of chaos. If you don't accept that in the jobs we have, you're going to burn out, especially when you combine it with the workload we've had. Listen, we deal with the cream of the crop. in the population of people whose lives are unmanageable in chaos. That's what we do. When you bring 100 people like that into a building relatively small, such as ours, with a very limited staff, such as we have, you're going to get chaos splashed all over you. There's only so much you can do. You have to be flexible. You have to just be able to roll with it. And you can't let it overwhelm you. If you have realistic expectations, and you take one patient, one task at a time, you're far less likely to get frustrated and to get burnt out. So keep that in mind. Lastly, what are we going to do about this? Well, it's people leaving early against staff advice. That is the lion's share of what's going on. And I can tell you, I know for a fact, we have patients who say they want to leave, and not one single person tries to keep them from making that decision. It is a horrible decision, detrimental. If you're not willing to help somebody keep from making a dumb mistake, even if you can't keep it from happening, if you're not willing to take 5 minutes to talk to them, you don't need to be at Mount Regis Center, because we're a good treatment program and we don't treat people like that. The people we treat are important to us. Their lives matter to us. The quality of their lives matter to us. We're not going to let them walk out of here and go jump in front of a bus, which is the equivalent of what we're doing if we don't try to stop them. So if you're one of the people who leaves it to someone else, or somebody who's just intimidated about or uncomfortable, or you're too busy, stop. You've got the completely wrong attitude about it. It is your job. We're depending on you. That patient is depending on you. It may take one patient, 4 different people that they have to speak to before they decide they're not going to go. If you're one of the 4 and you don't do it, they've only talked to 3, they're going to leave. It could be that Jeff talks to them and they won't hear from Jeff, but they'll hear it from you because you remind them of someone they trust, or because what Jeff has already said is already starting to take root a little bit. It could be that Jeff says even better things than you do, but you just happen to say the right thing. It is everyone's responsibility to stop when a patient is saying they want to leave early and to try to stop them. Now listen, it's easier for me to say that. I understand the reason why many of you don't do it is you don't understand what's going on with their thinking. It's aggravating. What do you mean? You just got here yesterday. You haven't been in any groups. Of course you're not happy. You know, you're going through detox. Of course you don't. You don't understand what's going on with them, then it's easy to make snap decisions or just let them go and move on to, the tasks that you have to do. You also may not know what to say. Even if you get it and you empathize, what do you say? We've had, again, 30 AMAs in the past 27 days. If we could have stopped 25% of those, that means if you try to block 4 people in the next month and only 1 stays, you've blocked 25%. If we had blocked 25% of the 30 people who left, my math is bad, so I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's a lot. It's at least 12 people. Instead of sitting at 86 today, we'd be at 98. And instead of having to restrict staff, we would have the ability to have more staff than we even have scheduled. So it affects you indirectly, but my goodness, you're at Mount Regis Center to help people. This is the most important thing you can do, is help people stay in treatment. I promise you, it is never a bad decision. They need to stay at Mount Regis Center. They get good treatment. They get good medical care at Mount Regis Center. We don't need to let them leave. So we're going to teach you what they're thinking. We're going to teach you how to address it, how to talk to them. There's a training coming up this Wednesday with Bridget. I want you to be there in person if you can. You'll really enjoy it. And you will be amazed at how much you learn. And you will have a different attitude. You will feel good about it. You'll feel confident that you know how to talk to somebody when they leave, because it's your job to do so. It really is. So we're going to video it. If you can't do the live meeting, which I hope you do because you'll enjoy it, you have to watch the video. This is mandatory. You have to sign a affidavit. So believe you me, at the end of the day, a week later, I'm not going to look at the affidavits and say, oh yeah, all the direct care staff did it. We're in a better place. I'm not going to do that. Stevie will look at the affidavits and come chasing you if you don't do it. And because this is so important, I'm going to come behind her, barking and snapping. No, what I'm going to look at is the AMAs. They should be down. There's no way we put out a high quality training video and a week later AMAs have still remained high. we're going to have to go back to the drawing board, and my requirements for you will go up, because we're not giving good treatment if we allow this to continue. And as long as I'm at Matt Regis Center, we're going to give you good treatment. Every last one of us is going to give you good treatment. So look for the video if you can't do the training, and I want you to have it done within a week. You'll enjoy it, you'll feel better, and then put it into practice. Listen, it's called the social diffusion of responsibility. You put a piece of paper in the floor, one person's there in a closed room, that person will pick it up. You put a piece of paper on the floor with 3 people, no one picks it up. They think the other person will do it. Our patients are not pieces of paper. Our patients are our loved ones. They're our family members, our friends. That's who they are. And we will not treat them like a piece of paper on the floor. We will each take responsibility to do our part to keep them from making a bad decision that their addiction is telling them to make. If we aren't successful and they leave anyways, we at least tried. But we have to try. Our business is to try to help these people make good decisions. Every last one of us who work at Matt Regis Center, that is your job. So please make sure you have this training done within a week. Thank you all.